The Instagram notification arrived at 9:47 p.m. while I was reviewing financial statements in my home office. Elena had tagged me in a post celebrating her boutique chain's latest expansion. The photo showed her cutting a ribbon at the grand opening of her 7th location, surrounded by local dignitaries and fashion industry executives. Caption read, "Success runs in the family. So grateful for this journey and everyone who believed in Elena's boutiques from day one. Some of us were born to build empires. Flexed biceps sparkles. #entrepreneur life. #family business. #not for everyone." The comments were already pouring in. Congratulations from fashion bloggers, praise from business mentors, and, unfortunately, several remarks from family members about how some people get the business gene while others don't. My cousin Ashley had written, "So inspiring. Unlike some people who are content with ordinary jobs, face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy." I scrolled through 47 comments before reaching Elena's reply to Ashley. "Thanks, babe. You know what they say, some people are dreamers and doers. Others prefer the safety of steady paychecks. Both have their place." Face blowing. Her reply already had 532 likes and counting. I left my own comment, short, polite, and detached. "So true. Congratulations on everything you've built, party popper." Then I opened my secure messaging app and typed to Patricia Morrison, my corporate accountant. "Please initiate termination of all partnership agreements with Elena's Boutiques LLC. Effective immediately. Full withdrawal of invested capital, $75 million total. Process first thing Monday morning." Patricia responded within minutes. "Are you certain about this timing? The boutiques are performing well and Q4 is typically their strongest quarter. This withdrawal will create significant cash flow issues." I typed back, "I'm certain. Please also terminate the commercial lease guarantees and cancel the credit line backing. Complete financial separation." "Understood. This will likely force emergency restructuring. Should I prepare documentation for the shell companies as well?" "Yes. Sever all connections. Trinity Holdings, Cascade Investments and Meridian Capital. Full withdrawal from all Elena's ventures." "Fair warning," she replied, "this will probably trigger immediate panic once the numbers hit their books." That's the idea. Elena's boutiques were indeed performing well, just as Patricia noted. Revenue had grown 340% over the past 3 years. Profit margins were healthy. The expansion strategy was solid. It was by any measure a successful business. But what Elena didn't know was that her success had been built entirely on my anonymous investment. Every expansion, every new location, every marketing campaign, every piece of inventory, all of it had been quietly funded through shell companies that traced back to me. And tonight, while strangers cheered her empire, they were unknowingly celebrating my money being used to elevate someone who publicly mocked me for lacking entrepreneurial spirit. Growing up, Elena was always the family's golden child entrepreneur. Friendship bracelets in middle school. A babysitting business in high school. An online boutique during college. Everyone knew Elena was destined for business greatness. Meanwhile, I was cast as the academic one. The practical one. The safe one. A finance degree, a steady path, the family's reliable worker bee. What no one saw was that I'd been quietly building something far larger than Elena ever imagined. While she was launching her first boutique with a $15,000 loan from our parents, I was making my first million through strategic investments in emerging markets. While she was celebrating her second location, I was managing a portfolio worth $50 million. By the time she needed serious capital for expansion, I had more than enough resources to help her. And I did. She was my sister and her business plans were solid. So I created Trinity Holdings LLC and became her anonymous anchor investor. Elena thought she had impressed sophisticated investors with her pitch decks. She never realized her venture capital came from her supposedly unambitious sister. Over 3 years, I invested $75 million into Elena's boutiques through various entities: equipment financing, lease guarantees, expansion capital, inventory funding, marketing budgets. Her brilliant business instincts were actually just unlimited access to my money. But Friday night's Instagram post clarified something important. Elena wasn't grateful. She was weaponizing her success against the very people who'd made it possible. And she had no idea she was attacking me. By Monday morning, the withdrawal paperwork was finalized. At exactly 9 a.m., I authorized the transfers. Elena's first call came at 10:23 a.m. Hey, hope you're having a good Monday. Quick question. Do you know anything about investment firms? I'm getting some confusing calls from our financial partners. Thought maybe your accounting background could help me figure it out. Call me back. She sounded calm, almost casual. The second call came at 11:47 a.m. Hey, this is getting weird. Trinity Holdings just terminated our partnership agreement. Completely. They want all their money back immediately, $75 million. That's not how investments work, right? Something must be wrong. Call me back, Izzy. The edge in her voice betrayed the first hints of panic. By 1:15 p.m. she had called 6 more times. Her voicemails charted her descent. Confusion turning into worry, worry turning into desperation. All 3 investors pulled out. All of them. On the same day. That's not a coincidence. Someone is targeting me. I need to find out who. At 2:30 p.m., my assistant buzzed through the intercom. Miss Rodriguez, your sister Elena is here to see you. She says it's urgent. Send her in. Elena burst into my office, frantic. Her usually flawless hair was disheveled, her makeup smudged, a folder of documents clutched to her chest like a shield. Thank God you're here, she said, rushing to my desk. I need your help. Someone's trying to destroy my business. Sit, I said calmly. Tell me what's happening. She spread the papers across my desk. Termination notices, financial statements, legal letters. Logos of Trinity Holdings, Cascade Investments, Meridian Capital stamped across them. All my investors pulled out. $75 million. Gone. They're demanding immediate repayment, canceling my lease guarantees, shutting down my credit lines. My accountant says I'll be bankrupt in 30 days. I picked up the Trinity Holdings notice and scanned it. Patricia's work was impeccable, legally airtight. This says they're exercising their right to withdraw capital with 30 days' notice, I said evenly. That's standard language in investment agreements. Standard. Elena's voice cracked. There's nothing standard about 3 major investors coordinating to destroy me. Someone convinced them to pull out. Someone who wants to hurt me. I met her eyes, steady and unflinching. Elena, what makes you think someone wants to hurt you? The timing. It's suspicious. I post about success running in the family and then boom, Monday morning everything collapses. Someone saw that post and decided to take me down. Her paranoia was spiraling. She scrolled to the post again, still live, still racking up likes. Who would want to take you down? I asked. I don't know. A competitor? Someone jealous? Someone who thinks I don't deserve what I've built. I leaned back, studying her. In your caption you wrote, "Success runs in the family, except not everyone." Who exactly were you referring to? Elena blinked, caught off guard. I don't know. Just a general statement. Some people are entrepreneurial, others aren't. But you tagged me in the post. Does your family? I always tag family. And your reply to Ashley, about dreamers and doers versus people who prefer steady paychecks? She shifted uncomfortably. That was just conversation. Ashley brought up family dynamics. Were you referring to me specifically? You do prefer stability over risk. That's not an insult. It's just true. Is it? I asked. Well, yeah. You've always worked the same job, lived in the same apartment, driven the same car. You've never started a business or taken major risks. You're risk-averse. I opened my laptop, turned the screen toward her. On display. My investment portfolio dashboard, real-time valuations across dozens of holdings. Total assets under management. $892,000,000. Elena stared at the screen. What is this? My investment portfolio. She leaned forward, reading the numbers more carefully. Technology startups, real estate developments, international markets, private equity funds, venture capital investments. Page after page of holdings, each worth millions of dollars. This says you have $800 million, she whispered. Assets under management, I corrected. My personal net worth is lower. About $430 million. Elena's face shifted rapidly, confusion, disbelief, shock, until a dawning realization drained the color from her complexion. The shell companies, she said slowly. Trinity Holdings, Cascade Investments. Meridian Capital. Those are yours. They're mine. You've been funding my business for 3 years. $75 million? Correct. Elena sank back in her chair, staring at me as though she'd never seen me before. But why? Why would you invest in my boutiques without telling me? Because I believed in your business plan, I said evenly, and I wanted my sister to succeed. Then why pull out now? Why destroy everything I've built? I turned my laptop back toward me and pulled up her Instagram post. Read your caption again. Elena looked at her phone, rereading the words she'd posted Friday night. I don't understand. Success runs in the family. Well, not everyone. You posted photos of a business expansion funded entirely by my money, I said, and you used that success to mock family members you think are less accomplished. I wasn't mocking anyone specifically. You tagged me in a post celebrating your success. Then you commented about how some people prefer steady paychecks over entrepreneurial dreams. You were referring to me. Her voice sharpened defensively. I was making a general point. Some people are risk takers, others aren't. That's not personal. Elena, I said, my tone low and deliberate, you used my money to build a business empire, and then used that empire to publicly prove why you're superior to family members like me who supposedly lack entrepreneurial spirit. The words hung between us like a blade. Elena looked down at the termination notices spread across my desk, then back up at me. I didn't know it was your money, she said quietly. Would it have mattered if you did? She hesitated. I don't know. Let me ask you this. If you had known your entire business was funded by your risk-averse sister, the one who supposedly prefers steady paychecks, would you have posted about how success runs in the family but not everyone? Probably not. Would you have written about dreamers and doers versus people who choose safety? No. So your willingness to mock family was entirely contingent on believing you had achieved success independently. Elena's shoulders slumped. When you put it like that, it sounds terrible. It was terrible, I said. You used success that I made possible to elevate yourself above the very person who made it possible. Elena buried her face in her hands. I had no idea. I thought I was supported by sophisticated investors who believed in my vision. You were supported by a sophisticated investor who believed in your vision. Me. She lifted her head, eyes wet. So what happens now? Do I lose everything? Do the boutiques close? Do I file for bankruptcy? I considered carefully. Elena's business was fundamentally strong. Prime locations, brand recognition, loyal customers, solid operations. What it lacked was capital, which I had withdrawn. That depends, I said. On what? On whether you've learned anything from this. I've learned that I'm ungrateful, she admitted softly, that I mocked the very person funding my entire life. I shook my head. That's not what I want you to learn. Then what? I want you to understand that success isn't just about talent and hard work. It's also about support systems, access to capital, family networks, and countless invisible advantages. When you use your success to make others feel small, you erase all the help you received along the way. Elena nodded slowly. And I want you to consider how you'll treat people differently if you get a second chance. She was silent for several minutes, then said, if you gave me another chance, I would never post anything like that again. I'd be thoughtful about how I talk about success and failure. I'd remember my achievements weren't mine alone. What about family members who aren't entrepreneurs? I asked. I'd respect that people have different strengths, different definitions of success. I wouldn't assume business ownership is the only meaningful achievement. And those who choose stability over risk. I'd recognize the wisdom in both. And I'd admit my own risk-taking was only possible because I had financial backing. I opened a new document on my laptop. I'm going to offer you a new investment agreement, $50 million to restructure your debt and continue operations. Her eyes widened. Really? But, conditions? Yes. I turned the screen so she could read. First, you'll publicly acknowledge that your business was built on anonymous family investment, that people believed in you before you believed in yourself. She nodded. I can do that. Second, you'll use your platform to highlight other family members' successes. Marcus's restaurant, Derek's tech startup, Uncle's housing projects. Celebrate achievement in all its forms. Of course. Third, you'll establish a mentorship program through your boutiques. partner with community colleges, provide internships, training, opportunities for those without traditional networks. Elena read the draft carefully. This is more than business terms. You're asking me to change how I think about success and how I use my platform. I'm asking you to remember that privilege comes with responsibility. She stood walking to the window. The city skyline glowed and several of her boutique signs shone brightly in the night. I built something real, she said quietly. Even if I didn't know I had help, I still built something real. You did, I agreed. The question is what you'll build next and how. She turned back, resolve in her eyes. I want to sign. All of it. The funding, the conditions, the partnership. I printed the document. Elena signed without hesitation. There's one more thing, I said, pulling out my phone. Delete your Instagram post from Friday. She opened the app. The post had 587 likes, dozens of comments praising her business acumen, and mocking unnamed relatives. She deleted it. Now post something new, I told her. Something that reflects what you've learned. After several minutes of typing, she showed me her draft. Taking down my last post, it didn't reflect the gratitude I owe. Success is never just individual achievement. It's built on family, mentors, investors, employees, and communities who believe in you before you believe in yourself. I'm grateful for every person who contributed to Elena's boutiques, especially those I didn't fully recognize before. #grateful, #community success, #family. Post it. She hit share, then looked at me. Are we okay? As sisters. We're better than okay, I said. We're partners now. Elena smiled. The first genuine smile since entering my office. Partners. I like that. Over the next week, I watched Elena transform. Her social media shifted from boasting to gratitude, spotlighting Marcus's award-winning restaurant, Derek's app launch, and our uncle's housing projects. She announced the mentorship program, partnered with local schools, and began lifting others instead of tearing them down. The new partnership structure thrived. She ran operations, I guided strategy. Within a quarter, revenue was up 23%, boosted by community goodwill and positive press. But the real change was in our family. For the first time, everyone's contributions were recognized. 6 months later, Elena's anniversary post read, "1 year ago I thought success meant proving I was better than others. Today I know success means lifting others up." Elena's boutiques exists because of family, community, and the wisdom of those who taught me that business is about service, not superiority. Grateful for every lesson, especially the hard ones. #community success, #family business, #grateful heart. The post earned 1,000 likes, dozens of comments. But what mattered most was simple. Elena had finally learned to use her success not as a weapon but as a light. Success really does run in families, when we remember it belongs to all of us.